The film begins with a demonstration of a group of climbers when suddenly Dan breaks down in front of Becky and Sheila. 51 weeks later, Becky thought about his loss every day, forever listening to his voicemail. One day, her father named Negan, or rather James, tries to explain that she needs to move on, but she doesn't really like it, which is why Becky is constantly freaking out, leaving alone. A moment before she is eliminated, Sheila manages to distract her, who urgently needs a partner in order to climb the TV tower, where she can scatter Dan's ashes. That's how the duo begins their journey. In the late afternoon, they decide to have a snack, and during the conversation, Sheila adds that she will shoot a stunning video there and the likes will fall from all sides. As well as the fact that that tower has been abandoned for many years and is about to be demolished very soon. A new day comes, and Sheila immediately starts recording a video explaining the dimensions of this tower. The height is over 600 meters, and they want to climb to the very top. When approaching the tower, the duo realizes that the passage is blocked. All that remains is to walk on your own 2 feet. They only have a little water from their supplies, because they expect to be home by lunchtime. The ascent will consist of several stages. First, you need to climb 550 meters inside the steel frame, then 60 meters by an external staircase. Sin awaits you. Becky immediately asks her to stay out of it, but Shelley manages to persuade her. That's how the duo begins their ascent. On a rather rotten staircase, even the external fasteners are starting to fail a little. Suddenly, the railing comes off, but Becky manages to catch on. Halfway through, the duo takes a short break at the height of the LFBB tower, from where they can see the whole neighborhood. A little later, they still pass the first stage, but Becky begins to be afraid of heights while Sheila crawls on. Seeing all this, Becky still decides to climb after her. Things are going pretty well at first, but satellite dishes get in their way, and even their duet is slowly passing. Sheila starts shaking the ladder for fun, which causes the bolt to fly out. One of its slots is exactly the same as the opposite bolt, but the duo climbs to the very top. After a couple of recordings, Becky sprays Dan's ashes all over the neighborhood. All that remains is to descend back to Earth, not yet suspecting that the ladder will fail, disrupting Becky. By a miracle, Sheila manages to catch on, preventing Becky from falling, and with her last strength pulls Becky back onto the ledge. Really? How do I get down now? But it doesn't pick up the signal at all. But they find binoculars and a flare, while the backpack with supplies is lying on the plates. Suddenly, the duo notices a wound on Becky's leg, and Sheila immediately bandages it. Thinking that help is already coming on its own, Sheila, as always, records a couple of videos. A little later, Sheila tries to see something through the binoculars, noticing a van, but apparently abandoned. By this time, 5 hours had passed, and the connection had not appeared. But the number of likes makes it clear that there was a connection after all, just a little lower. They come up with the idea to attach the phone to a rope and lower it 15 meters down, recording the message, but this does not lead to anything. Then Becky decides to throw off the phone by stuffing it into his sneakers. But they don't even know if it worked out. But in the binoculars you can see a man with a dog and a broken phone. Becky tries to reach him using his shoe, but it doesn't occur to him to look at the top of the tower. As night approaches, Becky launches a rocket, and this time they were seen. However, they just stole their car for a place of help. In the dead of night, Becky notices a 143 cat on Shill's leg. That's what Dan said he loved, to which she admits that she was in a relationship with him for months behind Becky's back. A new day is coming. The duo is still figuring things out. By this time, 24 hours had passed, and since help never came, Sheila removes the fastener, jumping onto a plate where water supplies were stored. Really? How do I get up now? Sheila comes up with the idea of using a selfie stick, hooking a rope, and jumping over a chasm. However, a couple of meters before the top, Sheila accidentally breaks off, but manages to catch on, injuring her hands, forcing Becky to lift her back to the top alone. After that, Becky writes a message on the back of the receipt, which they attach to the quadcopter, and it is he who should fly to the motel. But by this time the battery is almost dead, which is why this idea is doomed. And although this charge would have been enough to bring the phone down, the duo did not think about it to the communication level, which is why the night is falling. Becky is shocked by the loss of Sheila. However, it was an ordinary nightmare. Towards morning, they come up with another idea to climb right up to the lamp in order to plug the charger into it. However, it does not reach the contacts. Then Becky gets an idea. Use the ring as a power extension cord. And this time the charging still went. It would seem that it remains only to wait for charging. But Vulture has his own plans. Becky eats, which causes the backpack to fall to the very bottom. And Sheila doesn't catch him at all. Charging remains at 3 levels. Now we have to wait for 10 am. After all, it is at this time that the hotel has the most people. At first, the duo succeeds, the drone does not lose contact and almost flies up to the motel, but it is hit by a truck and the driver does not decide to approach the drone, just leaving. And this was the last hope for salvation. Towards evening, a storm begins to be seen in the distance, moving directly towards them until Becky almost runs out of strength to fight on, forcing Shil to admit that she is no longer alive. Even at that moment, when she fell off, she did not catch the rope, but left this world. She was pulling out her backpack instead. A little later, Becky watches a video with her father while James tries to find Becky. A new day is coming with a snack in the form of a vulture. Having gained strength, Becky decides to try to get down and use the last shoe, but already inside the shell. Towards nightfall, James rushes headlong to the tower, where a huge pile of rescuers has already gathered, covering Shil's body. Of course, James thinks it's Becky, but his fears were in vain, because Becky managed to be saved. That's where the movie ends.